discuss things where we are, where we want to go. And the first question I has, do you really want to come back? That's the big question. There's one more year left on his contract. And then you start to talk about, where we are as a program and what our expectations are. The one thing that Mike has done is, he's raised the bar of expectations. If you look at our history, and this is one thing we went back and really interesting in evaluation, in the previous 30 years before Mike was here, we had 3 seasons of 6 wins or more and 1 of 5. That was it. The two of them was when I was here, one with Gary. We had 2 bowl games in 30 years, and we had 4 years where we had 5 wins or more. Since Mike's been here, in the 8 years he's been here, we've had 6 of the 8. We won 5 or more. We've been to 3 bowl games and had 3 at 6 or more. So now, where we've gone is we've gone from a period of time in UTEP history where we were always at the bottom. We used to be in the bottom 10 of ESPN every single week. It was University of Texas that intercepted Paso. I can remember seeing that forever. And now we've gone to a period where we are competitive and we're well respected. And that's because of what Mike has done. Now, is that ultimately where we want to go? No, it is not. We want to compete for the championships. What Mike did when he first came in, competed for the championship, which, when we put that bar up there quick, then expectations, certainly change. But we really felt like for the future, as long as Mike wanted to do that, it was important to move forward with what we're doing, with the continuity of the program. I hear a lot of people say, well, how does Boise do it, and how does TCU do it? Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, you need to build facilities to be competitive, and that's one thing that we've really concentrated on doing in all of our programs since we've been there. And then if you really look at the programs like Boise, for instance, how they managed to move forward, they've had continuity in their programs. Dirk Cutter, who was my assistant here before, was the first person to win at Boise. When he left, Dan Hawkins, his assistant, took over and won. And when he left, Peterson, who was also on the staff, took over and they won. So they had consistency in what they were doing, they had consistency in their recruiting and the program, and it continued to feed on itself. Same thing with TCU. When the one coach left, Patterson took over. They worked on the facilities, and so they moved forward. So you can look at some of the schools that have made a number of changes. I would say that KU, Memphis, New Mexico, people that have had people leave their program and then right afterwards have not had a lot of success. And so it's important that we really looked at all those aspects. And the one thing we know that Mike has brought national recognition here and credibility. He's one of the best people in the community that we've ever had in this position. And he certainly knows what he's doing. We're not going to probably sign another National Coach of the Year to come here to UTEP. And so we have a great head coach. I think we have probably the best group of assistants we've ever had. So we really feel like the continuity of moving ahead would be to stay with Mike. And so that was our decision. Question will be, and I'll go ahead and ask the question and answer it. What about attendance? Attendance is going down. Yes, it is. And if you look at our conference, it's going down everywhere. There's more elements than just winning or losing. There's a huge element about the economy right now. But let me say, winning takes care of a lot of those things. But there's more to it for us than just winning and losing, in my opinion. We have to do a lot more at our game time atmosphere than we have. When I first came here in 1998, one of the things we said was we want to make the football game more than a game. It's what you do on Saturdays. It's where you go. And we really established that for a long period of time. In the last couple of years, we've lost that. We've lost the fun at the games, and we're going to really work hard at trying to bring back that atmosphere because I think that's so important. Whether we win or lose, if a family comes, has a great day, and tailgates and goes to the game, and we're competitive and win our share, that's what we want to do. So we really have to work on that end of it as far as attendance is concerned. You're going to ask, what about his contract? He's got 1 year left on his contract. Yes, he does. Are we going to put 3 more years on? No, we don't need to at this point. After next year, Mike needs to sit down and say, do I want to do this more? Where's our program? What are we going to do? You're going to say, well, is that going to hurt recruiting? I don't think so. I think you're recruiting to come to UTEP. If any player thinks that he will be guaranteed that the assistant coach that recruited him or the head coach that recruited him is going to be there the next 4 years, he needs to look what happened here nationally. Again, you look at KU 2 years, Memphis 2 years, New Mexico 2 years. There's no contract that's going to save somebody if somebody wants them to leave. So I think that most of our recruits have come on the good faith that Mike's going to be here, and that we like the program, and we like El Paso, and we like what we see. So anyway, I think those would be probably 2 of the bigger questions that you would ask, but I'd be more than happy to answer any other questions. Yeah. Well, I don't think just a recruiting coordinator as such. I mean, you look at the history of football, and when I was coaching stuff, everybody recruited, and you didn't necessarily even need a head of recruiting. Everybody recruited their area, and the head coach controlled it. Now we designate people. Coach Price designates a person as head of recruiting. I know Coach Banks was before, and I think Coach Holliday is now. Is that correct? Who will do a little bit more focus on that. But usually when there's a transition in staff, they usually keep at least 1 assistant, maybe 2, for 2 reasons. Number 1, continuity of recruiting. Number 2, just knowing about the university and knowing about the players. To me, they've all been real positive. And I've called almost all the major players, and I've got just a ton of voice messages and emails. I've had 1 or 2 say that you should go, and I understand that. I mean, especially with the mentality that's going on right now that, you know, if Dennis Erickson gets fired with 6 wins or Newhouse, I mean, that's certainly a question. You know, the fact that, you know, we won 8 games before, we won 5, you know, sure. I mean, that's always going to be an issue. But I think the people have been around El Paso, know Mike, and value him. And remember, the people who have been around, remember what it was like before. You know, remember how embarrassing it was and how we weren't competitive. And now we have the facilities, we have good coaches, and we're working real hard to try and be more challenging at the top level.
What about game day situations that you're trying to change specifically?
Well, I think there's a perception right now that tailgate's been killed, tailgating's been killed. That's really not true, but I think there's some things that we need to do to bring back the atmosphere of tailgating at the university and the fun on campus, because you know, even a year ago, the early games in Mexico State stuff, driving through campus, I mean, it's just alive, and the parking lots are alive, and this is what we want. This is what we want at our campus. We want to have fun. Now we don't want, you know, people getting drunk and having crimes and fights. We avoid all the dangerous stuff, but we want people to feel like this is a fun place to go on Saturdays. But we haven't set all the rules yet. But the thing is, we want to say next year tailgating is going to be back. Okay.
How would you grade this?
Well, that's another issue. I think coming the season, if we all would have voted, will we take 5 wins? We ought to have raised our hands, because we've lost all those really good players that have been here for 4 years. We had a lot of new players coming in. How they were going to be, we really didn't know. So I think we found ourselves in the last game with the chance to go to a bowl game saying, wow, we never expected to be here. So I think that in regards, again, I think we really have some really talented young players coming back next year, especially in offense. And we've gray-shirted some, and I know that we have a large contingent of recruits already. So I think that we'll be a real solid team next year. We've got a tough schedule, but I think we're going to have a real exciting team next year. I met with Mike several times, and I met with Dr. Nantalicio, and what I always do is present all the information on both sides. You know, I can say, here's the pluses, here's the minuses, you know, let's look at this, what do we think? I would make a recommendation to her, and then she would either, you know, approve or disapprove. She always has final say. I did recommend that Mike would come back. She did agree. But we met, you know, extensively about a day ago. So. No. I met with Mike a couple times, and I met with Dr. Natalicio and Richard Alto by myself. Well, you know, I think she's very pleased with Mike. I think that she really likes Mike. I mean, she understands what Mike's done for the university. Again, he's brought credibility. He's very warm and he's great with the people in the community. I mean, I can tell you right now, he's still the #1 sports figure here in town. You walk any place into a restaurant right there, everybody wants to talk to him. They want his autograph. They want, you know, he's still the most, you know, prevalent sports figure here in town, and that's because of his personality, you know, the way he is with people. And you know, dealing with it in the media, how he's never tried to feed you the basic lines. He's always been honest to you and tells you, you know, exactly where it is, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. He's not afraid to take responsibility. Well, I've had a couple emails that say, you know, it's time for a change. You know, we need to move on. Certainly, you're going to get that. I mean, certainly. But really, with some of the, not only major boosters, but some of the just regular fans, I probably had 10 voicemails of people that say, you know, don't get rid of Coach Price. He's the best guy we've had. You know, we really like him. And they weren't high donors. We tried to talk to more than just big donors, you know. Well, I'm just saying that, you know, we evaluated the situation, and we really feel the continuity of moving forward with the program with our coaches. The best thing to move forward is with what we're doing right now with Coach Price. Finances are always part of it, but ultimately that wasn't the decision maker. You know, when you do make a change, it's expensive, very expensive. Prices on coaches have gone up dramatically, especially at the BCS level. You know, you take Washington State, who was paying their last coach $600,000. Well, they got their new TV contract that went from, I think, $6 million to $21 million, and all of a sudden Mike Leach gets a $2.5 million salary compared to the $600,000 he had before. So, I mean, finances to a certain degree, but it really wasn't the deciding factor. It's always expensive to make changes.